Hello everyone, welcome to this Microsoft project tutorial for complete beginners. Today we'll be diving into the fundamentals of project management and exploring how Microsoft project can help you streamline your civil engineering building construction projects effectively. First, let's talk about why project management is so important in the field of civil engineering, particularly for building construction projects. Whether you are constructing a residential building, a commercial complex, or an infrastructure project, effective project management is crucial for ensuring everything runs smoothly. Here are a few reasons why project management is essential. Organizing and planning. Project management helps in organizing tasks and resources, setting clear objectives, and outlining the steps needed to achieve them. This ensures that everyone involved, from architects to contractors to laborers, knows their responsibilities and deadlines. Time management. With proper project management, you can create realistic schedules, track progress, and adjust timelines as needed. This helps in meeting construction deadlines and avoiding delays, which can be costly in terms of both time and money. Resource allocation. It ensures that resources such as materials, labor, and equipment are used efficiently. This prevents overallocation and underutilization of resources, leading to cost savings and increased productivity on the construction site. Risk management. Identifying potential risks early and planning for them can save a construction project from unexpected issues. Project management involves risk assessment and developing contingency plans to mitigate these risks, ensuring the project stays on track. Quality control. Ensuring that the construction project meets the desired quality standards is a key aspect of project management. This involves setting quality benchmarks and regularly reviewing progress to maintain high standards and comply with building codes and regulations. Communication. Effective communication is vital for project success. Project management establishes clear communication channels among team members, stakeholders, and clients, ensuring everyone is on the same page and any issues are addressed promptly. Now that we have understood the importance of project management, let's talk about why Microsoft Project is a valuable tool for managing your building construction projects. Microsoft Project is a powerful software application designed specifically for project management. Here are some reasons why it stands out. Comprehensive planning. Microsoft Project allows you to create detailed project plans with tasks, milestones, and dependencies. You can easily visualize the entire project timeline and make adjustments as needed, which is crucial for coordinating the various phases of a construction project. Resource management. The software helps you manage resources effectively by assigning tasks, tracking resource availability, and identifying potential overallocations. This ensures that the resources such as materials and labors are utilized optimally, avoiding delays and cost overruns. Task tracking and progress monitoring. With project management, you can track the progress of tasks, update their status, and monitor the overall progress of the construction project. This helps in identifying any delays or issues early on and taking corrective actions to keep the project on schedule. Budget management. The tool allows you to define project budgets, track costs, and compare actual expenses with planned budgets. This helps in keeping the construction project within the financial constraints, ensuring that you stay within the budget and avoid unexpected expenses. Reporting and analysis. Microsoft Project offers a variety of reporting options, from built-in reports to customizable ones. You can generate reports on project status, resource utilizations, costs, and more, providing valuable insights for decision making and keeping stakeholders informed. Integration with other tools. Microsoft Project seamlessly integrates with other Microsoft applications like Excel, Word, and Outlook. This enhances collaboration and data sharing across different platforms, making it easier to share project plans, progress reports, and other important documents with your team. User-friendly interface. Despite its powerful features, Microsoft Project has a user-friendly interface that makes it accessible for beginners. The Ribbon interface, similar to other Microsoft Office products such as Word, Excel, ensures a short learning curve, allowing you to quickly get to speed and start managing your construction projects effectively. Now, having background on Microsoft Project and project management, Let us move on and see how we can use the software to create the project plans and project schedules. When you first open Microsoft Project, you will see the main interface, which might seem a bit complicated in the beginning, but don't worry, we'll break it down step by step. The interface is divided into several key areas that you will be using frequently. At the top, you will see the ribbon toolbar, similar to the Microsoft Office applications. The ribbon is divided into tabs like File, Task, Resource, Report, Project, View, so on and so forth. You'll be using this toolbar to access most of the features in the Microsoft project. The central part you can see over here. The left side shows a list of the tasks that are over here. The left side that you see over here, it shows the tasks that you have entered. Right now we haven't entered anything, so you cannot see anything over here. But once you enter the tasks, those tasks will appear over here. And on the right side, you will see the Gantt chart, which is a visual timeline of those tasks. Okay, if you know the fundamentals of the project management, then you must be knowing what a Gantt chart is. If you don't know, then don't worry. We'll see what a Gantt chart is, and we'll also know how a Gantt chart is created in Microsoft Project. Okay, so Gantt chart basically helps you to see how tasks are related and how they fit into overall project timeline. And on the bottom left side, you can see how the new tasks will be treated. So over here you can see that new tasks will be manually scheduled. So we'll see what is manually scheduled, and if you click over here, then you can see other option that is auto scheduled, and we'll see that option as well. Over here you can see different views that are available. Once you know the basics of the Microsoft project, then you can check what these options actually do. On the far left side, you can see it's written Gantt chart, and if you right click over here, and you can see a menu that has got different views. So right now these things look very unfamiliar, but once you know Microsoft project, you can play with these things and see what they actually do. Okay, so having known about the basic user interface of Microsoft project, now let us start by setting up a new project. This is the first step in getting your project off the ground. Okay, so now let us create a new project. To create a new file, go to the file menu over here, click on it, and after that click on new, and over here you can find a lot of templates. So you can find the template for software development planning, creating a budget, commercial construction, on value, residential construction, and you can see a lot of samples over here. So we'll start by using a blank project, and you left click on it, and once you do, you end up here. Okay, this is the same interface that I showed you earlier. I just wanted to show you how you create it from scratch. So once you are here, your first job is to set the project information. To set the project information, go to the project tab over here, click on it. After that, click on project information. Okay, so this you always do for all the projects. The first thing that you do is go to the project information. So here you have to input the project start date. Okay, so you can set this in the future or you can set it in the past. So today is 6/15/2024, and let's say that we start the project in July 1st, then this is your starting date, and the current date you can see 6/15/24. And schedule from, you keep it project start date, and calendar, and you keep it as standard calendar, and we'll see how this calendar influences in a while, and click on OK. So once you have set the project information, that is the project start date, the next thing that you do is go to change working times, click on it. Over here you can see that for calendar, you can select a calendar from here, or you can create a new calendar. So these are the default calendars for, let's say, 24-hour, night shift, and standard, and you can create a new calendar. You can work on the standard calendar as well, so it's not necessary to create a new calendar. So we'll name it 7-day work week. Okay, and you can make it a copy of standard. So it will copy all the things from the standard calendar. Now we can make changes to this calendar. Over here you can see this is June 2024 and this is Sunday and this is Saturday. You can see the legends. So white cells mean that these are the working days. Gray cells mean that these are the holidays. Okay. And we'll change these things. We'll go to the work weeks first. Click on the work weeks tab over here. And after that, click on the details. So here what you have to do is that you have to set all the days in a week when the construction happens, and also you have to set the time when the construction happens. Okay, and normally what happens is that in my country, and it must be same in your country as well, the construction happens all days in a week, like 7 days in a week. There is normally not any holiday except for some big festivals, or let's say May Day. Except for those days, almost every day the construction happens, right? So what we do is that we do the same thing. We set all the days as the working days. And what we do, so for that, what we do is that we click on this option, set days to these specific working times. So Sunday has been selected. You just press shift and then click on Saturday. Okay, then all the days are selected because we are doing the same thing for all the days, right? We are applying the same rules for all the days, the working times. So we'll set these days to the working days and we'll set the specific working times. Okay, so the site starts, let's say, at 8 a.m. If your site starts earlier than this, let's say 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., you can input these values. Normally in the hotter areas, the sites start early, and during the afternoon they take a break and they again start working in the evening. So if this is the case, you have to input the realistic values over here. So I'll start from 8 and 8 to, let's say, 12, 4 hours. Then it's a 1 hour break from 12 to 1, and from 1 to, let's say, I'll put 6. Okay, so how many hours a day? So it's from 8 to 12 it's 4, and 1 to 6 is 5, so it's total 9 hours a day, right? If you want to make it 8 hours a day, then you can put 5. Okay, I'll go with 8 hours a day. And after that, click on OK over here. Okay. All right. So now what you have done is that you have set all the days to the working days, right? What you have to do is that you have to set these things somewhere else also. So for these, click on options over here. Then you will get this menu, general, display, schedule. If you are used to other Microsoft tools, you can find this options menu in the file menu, right? So over here, schedule. So work starts on Sunday. You can put any day, and a fiscal year starts in January, whatever seems fit to you. So default start time is 8 a.m. and default end time is 5 p.m. Hours per day, we have set 8 hours, and hours per week, so we have set 7 days, 7 days as working days. So it's 8 times 7, that is 56 days. Okay, and days per month, we have set all the days of a month as the working days. Then you can leave other values as default, and you can change them if you like. For example, duration is entered in days. You can put in weeks, or you can put it in hours. You know, it depends on your project or whatever is followed in your country. Okay, then we'll click on OK. So you have to make these changes over here, otherwise the Microsoft project will not give accurate results. Okay, so for example, what happens is that in a project you must be knowing project task start date plus duration of the task is equal to project task finish date. Okay, so this calculation will not be correct. It will show a different result if this is not assigned, or this is not, if this is not aligned with your calendar that you have just set. After that, click on OK. So over here there is other thing that you have to do. This is exceptions tab, and over here you put the exceptions date. So all these days are working days and exception days are the non-working days. For example, if there is a holiday, let's say that a new year is a holiday, right? So we'll say new year, and it starts when? It starts on January 2025. Okay, and it's January 1st, 2025, and it's a new year day. And if you go over here, then you can see that now January 2025 first, it has been set to the non-working day, and this is what you want. And if there are other holidays, let's say for May Day, site is normally closed, you can put that day as well. And what Microsoft project will do is Microsoft project will skip that date. For example, if a task starts on 28th of the December and it takes 5 days to complete, then the start date will be 28 December 2024 and its finish date will be 28 1 2 3 4. This will be skipped 5 and 5. Okay, so this will be its finish date, and if this is not incorporated, then it will show 1st of January as the finish date. And if your site is closed on 1st of January, then it is not possible that it will be the finish date, right? So you have to enter these values, and you have to also insert other major festivals. For example, I live in Nepal and we have got Dasai and Tihar as major festivals, and you have to insert those values as well. So click on delete the accidental thing I just created, and after that click on OK. So now that you have set the project information and you have changed the working times, the next thing that you do is that you start inserting the project tasks. Tasks are the individual activities that need to be completed to finish the project. Let's go through the process of adding tasks to your project. So make sure that you are in this Gantt chart view. This is the default view and is great for adding and managing tasks. So over here you can see task mode. I'll show you what this is. Then you can see the task name. You have to enter the name of your task, and you can see the duration, start date, finish date, and the predecessor. So what is a predecessor? So predecessor is a task that is completed before any task can start. For example, for doing the concreting, you have to finish the formworks, right? So for concreting, formworks is the predecessor. Okay. So let me tell you one thing before moving on, and that is, so there are different methods for creating the schedule in the Microsoft project. Okay. So how you enter the tasks, how you link them, how you put the duration, start date, finish date, and everything. Okay. So this is what I use, and this is my method. And this is what normally is followed. And once you become aware of this software, then you can create your own method, which will save you a lot of time and will be easier for you. Okay, so this is just a baseline method. So what I normally do is that I list all the tasks first. I do not care what is the predecessor, what is the successor. I don't care for all those things, and I also don't care for the duration as well. I just list the tasks, right? So how do I list the task? So this is one important thing. Okay, I always tell people that knowing the software is not important. So for Microsoft project, you might know all the tools and everything, but still you might not be able to create a realistic schedule. Why? It's because for creating a realistic schedule, you must know each and everything of that project. Okay, how you do it? So once you have all the drawings and things, you study the drawings. After that, you create a whole movie in your mind that how you're going to start the task, how you're going to start the project. So you have to imagine that first thing you'll set up the camps, that is the mobilization part, right? Then you will do the surveying and layout things. Then you will do the excavation. Then you will finish the foundation. Then you will do the tie beam, then the ground floor columns, then the beam and the slab, then the first floor columns, beam and the slab. And for all these tasks, you have to know every detail. Okay, like for example, so when you do the excavation, how you will start the stone soiling works. Okay, right? And let's say that when you start the excavation, there is a whole lot of the big plot that you are excavating, and one edge of the excavation you have already made. So you have to think whether you will finish the excavation completely and start the stone soiling work, or you can start the stone soiling work once you have excavated a sufficient amount of the land. right? You don't have to finish the entire excavation. You have excavated a certain part and you can start the soiling from there, and the rest part the excavator works on, and the stone soiling work also happens parallelly. So you have to imagine all those things, and you have to also think. So you start the excavation today, right? After 2 days your certain area is complete and you start the work, whether it is 2 days, whether it is 3 days. You have to imagine all those things, everything, how you're going to take this project, how you will do all the things, everything. It should be in your mind. Then only you can make a realistic project. So this is my suggestion for you. In order to make schedules professionally, for learning purpose it's just fine, you can start. For creating the schedules, you must have completed at least one project as a site engineer. You must have seen all the things that happen at a site, from excavation to the finishing. You must be knowing everything, and you must be knowing how the work happen, how the works happen, okay, and how the site is planned, how the works are planned, so that the work is done efficiently. You must know at least for one project. And once you have those things, you can make a very realistic schedule. Okay, for this tutorial purpose I'll be using a building. I'll just show you the drawings. So this over here is the plan of my building, and this over here is the section of my building. I just wanted you to visualize what sort of building we are taking for this example, because the duration part over here is very important. For a smaller building, the duration will be shorter for, let's say, excavation, for concreting and things. For larger building, the durations will be larger. All right, so this is a roughly 15,000 square feet building. It's a commercial building, and we will take this building as an example for creating this schedule. All right, so now let us list all the works related to this project. So first thing what you do is that you go to add this bottom part and click on new tasks, and over here select auto schedule. What this means is that, so once you create the task name, let's say A, and if you put the duration, let's say 5 days, and you put the start day as, let's say, today, it will automatically add the finish date. Okay, let me just delete this task. You can just select the task like this and click on delete. So this is more like an Excel. This Microsoft project interface is more like an Excel. Okay, the first thing that you do is mobilization. So once you get the contract, you do the mobilization, right? And mobilization, you set up the camps, you set up the levers, you set up how you set up the utilities, water, toilet and bathroom and things. And let's say that this is the duration of 15 days. Okay, and next what you do surveying and layout. All right, so before these two tasks, I'll add one more task, and for that you can just go over here, right click and click on insert task, and I'll name this. You can give this task the name of the project, so I'll just give it MS tutorial project. Okay, so you have to you can name this. Let's say if it's a commercial building construction, you can name the building construction project, like for example certain complex construction project, right? I'll tell you why this is important. And you do the mobilization, you do the surveying and layout, and the next thing that you do is you start the foundation works. Okay, so in the foundation works, what do? You do the excavation, then you do the soiling. After the soiling, you do the PCC, and what do? You do the reinforcement of footing, and you do the column, right? And after that, formworks, and And after the formworks are done, you do the concreting of the footing. Okay, and after the concreting is done, the next thing that you do is, after the concreting of the footing and the footing is done, the next thing that you do is you start the tie beam works. Okay, you start for the tie beam, and for that what you do is you have to construct the brick wall, right? brick wall for the tie beam. So what you do for that, you do the soling for tie beam wall, then you do the PCC for tie beam wall. You can name these tasks anyhow you like. This is just for your easiness. I'm just putting the names randomly, whatever is coming in my thought. And you do the brick masonry. Okay, I'll just put the first word, capital brick masonry work for tie beam. For tie beam, why I am writing, because brick masonry work generally refers to the brick masonry work of floor. So this is not that one, this is a different one. And after that you put the reinforcement work of tie beam, and then you do the formwork of tie beam, and after that you do the concreting of tie beam, and next thing you do is soil filling, or you can say it backfilling in plinth level floor, right? Up to the plinth level you fill the soil. The works related to the superstructure are completed. So over here what I have done is that I have just listed the task. Whatever comes to my thought, this things are the things that we will be doing. So why I have written this over here and also the foundation works over here is that because these are my summary tasks. Okay, so organizing tasks into summary tasks and also the sub tasks helps to structure your project, making it easier to manage. So how do I make this MS tutorial project, that is the project name, as the summary task? You select the task and you go to task menu over here, and from here you can see this outdent task option, and if you click on it, and it will say that this task can't be outdented any further. So what you have to do is that you have to indent other tasks. So what you do, you select all the tasks like this, and after that you click on this option, indent task. Okay, now you can see that MS project is highlighted over here. It's in bold fonts now, and you see that all these things have gone inside. And if you collapse this task, then you will see that all the tasks get collapsed, which means that now these all tasks are a part of the MS tutorial task. Okay, and this task is called the summary task, and the duration of this task will depend on the duration of all these tasks, and the start date will depend on the first task that starts, and the finish date of this task depend on the last task that is inside this MS tutorial project task that will finish last, right? So this will be my master summary task. Why I have created it's because at the end it will calculate the total duration of the project. So mobilization, surveying and layout, foundation works. So foundation works, these all things are related to the foundation works. So what we do, we select all these works, and you can again go here and click on indent task, or what you can do is that you can go over here, and once you see this arrow, okay, so when you just go over here, you will see this small arrow like this, two-way arrow. Then you click your left mouse button, and after that slide your mouse to the right like this, and leave your left mouse button. Once you see this line, you will see that all the works, they have been indented to the foundation works. So now foundation work is the summary task for all these subtasks. So subtasks are the individual activities that fall under a summary task. Let's say that you want to remove this task over here, reinforcement work of tie beam, this task from the foundation work. You don't want to keep it inside the foundation work. So what do? You just click on this task over here, and after that go over here and click on outdent. Then you will see that this will be outdented, and it has accidentally been made this the summary tasks for all these tasks. Then you have to select again all these tasks and again outdent them as well. And now you can see that these tasks are not a part of the foundation work. Now they are a part of the MS tutorial project task, right? So we'll select them again and we'll put them inside. So you have to be careful while left or right scrolling the mouse. If you go further inside like this, then these tasks will be the subtasks of brick masonry work, right? So you have to see the line. So it should align with the task first letter, then leave them. Then you can see that these tasks are now the subtasks of the foundation work. So this is the concept of the summary task and the subtasks. There is one more thing, that is the milestone, and we'll see that later. Once we have done this thing, these things in mind, now the next thing that you have to do is you have to input the number of days. To input the number of days is very crucial. So if you specifically know how many days a task will take to finish, then you can put those values. If you don't know, then either you have to estimate or you can take help from the expert that knows these things. So mobilization 15 days, surveying and layout, let's say we finish the surveying and layout in 2 days. Okay, you just have to set up the total station, take the coordinates and put the column center points, right? And once the surveying and layout is done, you can then lay out the foundations as well to see if there are any discrepancies. If the foundations are overlapping at the site, it might happen sometime. And if some foundation is going over the hill, or if any footing is going out of the project boundary line, so these things you can see. And and also you have to see if the drawings are correct or not, the outline of the project land is correct or not, if it fits as shown in the drawing or not. And once you are done with it, and once the engineer in charge has verified it, after that you can start the excavation. So excavation work, it depends upon the depth of the excavation. Sometimes it's just the foundation depth, that is 1.5 meters, and sometimes you have to do some ground clearance also. And you have to estimate how the excavation will be done, whether extra excavation is needed or not, how is the terrain, whether there are more stones or it is just the soil and gravels. And if it's just a simple soil and the gravel, the excavation will be easy. And if the ground has got huge stones, then you have to use the breaker and it will take a lot of time. So you have to do all those calculations over here, otherwise your estimate will not be correct. So except for excavation, I'll put, let's say, 2 weeks plus 1 day, that is 15 days. Then you start the soling. And as I said earlier, suppose that this is the whole area that you have to excavate, where each footing is lying, and you start excavation from here, right? And you have finished excavation of this portion, right? And it took you around, let's say, 3 days. All right. And what you can do is that you can start the soling works for these footings over here, the stone soling work, while your excavator can start excavation or keep excavating this portion. The soling work, now let's say for all the footings, let's say normally you can finish 5 to 6 footings in a day. So which means that it will take you around 6 days. I'll take 6 days. And once you finish the soling, you will do the PCC, and PCC will also normally take as long as the soling takes. So I'll take 6 days for the PCC as well. Then you have to put the reinforcement of the footing and the column. For the footing, it's an easy task. You just have to lay down the rebars in 2 directions and you have to tie those rebars. Erecting column can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes you might need to make some scaffoldings. Erecting column can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes you might need to make some scaffoldings, and sometimes you might not need the scaffolding. You just have to erect the vertical bars. Okay, this can take quite long, so I'll take 2 weeks, that is 14 days. And one thing that I want to show you over here, I'll take this task as an example. So while inputting the duration, if you press 14 and after that click on, and after that write D, it will take 14 days, right? And if you go again over there and press and type 2 and then after that write weeks, it will say 2 weeks. Okay, it will take the days in weeks, right? So I'll go with 14 days, that is 14D. And after that you do the formworks. So formworks I'll take only 5 days, because for the footing it doesn't take that long. Concreting for the isolated footing might take long, and for the raft, if it's a big raft, it will take obviously many days, and if it is a small raft, then it might be easier. It's just mass concreting. So concreting I'll take for this project over here, I'll take around 15 days. Okay, and now you have to do the soling for the tie beam. Soling for the tie beam will I'll take 4 days, and PCC for the tie beam also 4 days. So normally soling and PCC they are done in equal times. So brick masonry work, it will take a long time, because you have to make a 9-inch brick wall in all the lines. What I exactly mean over here is that, so this is one footing. I'll just zoom into this image over here. Okay, so this is one footing over here, and this is another footing. And once you are done concreting this whole volume and this whole volume, so next thing that you do soling from here to here. This line you have to do the soling, and after that you do the PCC, right? And after that you make a brick wall. Brick wall, how? So this, I'll draw the section, and let me just show you. So I'll just draw the longitudinal section to show what I actually mean. So this is your ground over here. Okay, so this is one footing, right? One footing resting on the ground, and this is my another footing that is resting on the ground. So this level is same, but here it says this level is same. Okay, so what you do is that next thing that you do the stone soling at this portion. After that you do the PCC 200 mm stone soling, and let's say 75 mm PCC, and after that you do the brick wall. Let's say that this is your tie beam level. This over here is your tie beam level. From the top of the tie beam up to top of this ground, it's 1.5 mm. Let's say that depth of the tie beam is 300 mm. Then you know this level, right? You can just subtract it. And once you have this level, you have to construct a brick wall up to this level, like this whole on this footing as well. You have to do the brickwork. Okay, once you do the brickwork, and you have to lay the reinforcement of the beam, the longitudinal reinforcement of the beam here, like this, and the top reinforcement also. Then you put the formwork and you do the concreting of the tie beam. So this is what I have listed over here. So brick masonry work, so you have to do for this for all the lines that are shown on the footings. So brick masonry work, it will take a long time, so I'll take 16 days. And reinforcement for the tie beams, yes, for putting the rebars of the beam, it takes time, and I'll take 18 days. And formworks, I'll take a week. And concreting works, it doesn't take much, so I'll take 5 days. And soil backfilling, you have to do with the you can do this with an excavator, and it will just take 2 days. Alright guys, so what we have done so far is that we have listed all the tasks, and we have also created a summary task and the subtask, and we have also assigned the duration for those tasks. So over here you can see the Gantt chart, and you can see the start date over here and the finish dates and the duration, right? And what the Gantt chart shows over here is that all the tasks start at one day, and this doesn't happen in a project, right? The tasks happen in a certain sequence. For example, first you do the mobilization, and after that only you do the surveying and layout. You don't do the mobilization and surveying and layout at the same time. You have to first finish the mobilization, right? So it means that you have to set the relationship between these tasks over here. So that you do with the help of this column that is written predecessors. So if you do not find any column over here, so like this, you can see other column like resource name also. So if you do not see any column, then what you have to do is that you have to go over here and click on this option, and from here you can add any column that you want. Let's say that you don't have this predecessors column and you want it. You just go over here and press P, and you will find predecessors over here, and you just select it. Right now we have it and I will not select it. So I'll just delete this resource name. You can just right click on it and click on hide column, and also peak hide column. I'll just use predecessors over here. So I'll just shift it like this. Okay. So predecessors, this column will help you to form the relationship between the tasks. So before going into this project, let us see what are the major relationship between the tasks project management. So the relationship between task means that let's say that you have task A, then you have task B. So how these tasks are related between each other, okay, that we'll see. So the first relationship between the tasks is the most common relationship, and that is finish to start. Finish to start relationship, and we say this as FS, and we denote this as FS. Okay. And so what does this mean? That if you have got activity A and then you have got activity B, then activity B, let's say that this is your predecessor task and this is your successor task. So in this relationship, task B cannot start unless or until the task A is completed. Okay. For example, you cannot do concreting without finishing the formwork. So concreting is your successor task, formwork is your predecessor task to concreting, and these are related with finish to start relationship. Okay. So next one is start to start. So start to start relationship, and we denote it with SS. Over here, the successor activity cannot start until the predecessor activity starts. Alright. So but in Microsoft project and in project management, we don't see this one start to start relationship for just for the two tasks, right? So what we see over here is that there is one task A, it finishes, and you can simultaneously start task B, and also you can start task C at the same time, right? So you don't have to wait for the completion of task B to start task A. You can start both the tasks simultaneously. For example, you do the mobilization, right? And after that, you do the excavation, let's say, right? Or you say, let's say the foundation work, you do it. And the foundation work for the building and also for the site development, like for example, construction of any protection wall and things, you can do simultaneously. So these do have the start to start relationship. All right. So these both can start at the same time. So you don't have to wait for the completion of formworks, completion of the foundation work, and then only you can start the site development work, right? You can start them parallelly. So this is the main meaning of the start to start relationship. So third one is the finish to finish relationship. Finish to finish relationship. So this we denote by FF. So this normally we normally use when we have to finish both the tasks simultaneously, so that you can start the another task. For example, in a building, let's say that you do the electrical work of a room, right? And you also do the sanitary work of the bathroom. Okay, and you have got a deadline that you have to meet, right? And you have got a deadline that you have to meet. Let's say, for example, 1st of January 2025, you have to finish this project for the opening, right? So by okay, so you have to finish the electrical work on this day, and also you have to finish the sanitary work on this day. So which means that electrical work, let's say if it takes 30 days, and sanitary work, let's say it takes 20 days. So these both have to finish on the same date. That is why they have got the finish to finish relationship. This is your electrical work and this is your sanitary work. So this length shows the time, 30 days. This is 20 days. And these both are connected with the finish to finish relationship. So they both have to finish together, which means that if electrical work finishes on January 1st, so what the software will do is that it will take the finishing date of sanitary work as 1st January and do the back calculation to get its start date. So at, let's say, 10th of December, you have to start the sanitary work. All right, so this is the relationship. So this is the concept of this finish to finish relationship. The final relationship is the start to finish relationship. Start to finish relationship. And we write it with SF. Okay. So among all these four relationships, the most widely used is FS. Then SS and FF are seldom used, and this is barely used. So what does this mean is that the successor activity cannot finish until the predecessor activity starts. For example, you have done a certain work, let's say work A you have done, and completion of this work is not done unless the inspection is completed, right? Unless the inspection is completed. So finishing of this activity, task B, not task A, task B, ensures when this task A starts, right? All right. Okay, so having the concept of this task relationship, now let's go to the software and see how we define the relationship between various activities in our software. So mobilization, you start, it doesn't have any predecessor. So surveying and layout, so its predecessor activity is mobilization, and it has been numbered as 2 number activity, right? So what do you do over here? You write 2. Now you can see that there is a relationship between these two activities. Okay, so over here if you see, then you can see that so this task completes on Friday and the Saturday has been great, and now the software skips and it goes to Sunday, right? Okay, all right, so why it happened? It happened because the Saturday is a non-working day, and that is why it is grayed out over here. And why this is a non-working day, though we set Saturday as a working day? Because if you go over here on the project tab and go to the project information, then over here we have to change the calendar and then set it to 7-day work week calendar, and after that click on OK. Now you can see that the things have changed over here. Now Saturday, it's also a working day, right? And you can see the calculations have been revised and now calculations are more accurate. For example, mobilization takes 15 days from 7/1 to 7/15, that is 15 days, right? And a surveying starts after the mobilization, that is from 7/16. 16 and 17 that comprise 2 days, right? And it's 2 written over here. Okay, so next let's go to the excavation task. After the surveying and layout, let's assume over here, just to show you how these things work, let's say that you inform the engineer in charge, he comes, he checks and he says okay, and it takes 1 day. So which means that just after the surveying and layout is completed, you cannot start the excavation. You have to wait one more day. So how do you say this to the software? So you know that surveying and layout is the predecessor task to excavation. So what you do, you put task number, that is 3, which is the predecessor. The relationship is finished to start, which means that you can only start the excavation once the surveying and layout is finished. So you do FS, that is finish to start relationship, and you do plus, and after that write 1 day, which means that there is a lag of 1 day between surveying and layout and excavation, and that lag is for checking by the engineer in charge. So it might not take 1 day, it might just take 1 hour, but just for showing you, I have entered this value. So after that, press enter. Then you can see that over here there is a lag of 1 day. So if you double click on this, you can see surveying and layout to excavation, type is finish to start. You can change from here the relationship, and you can also add the lag, right? So, and you can also add the negative lag as well, which means that before the predecessor task finishes, the successor task starts. So how it happens, I'll show you. So I'll add lag of 1 day and click on OK. So once the excavation is done, you do not wait for the 15 days to start the soling. Why? Let me show you. Let's say that this is your foundation plan over here. So you have to do the excavation of this whole area, right? This whole area. It takes 15 days to finish the excavation of this whole area, right? You will not say that, okay, so for 15 days I'll do the excavation and I'll finish the whole excavation, make a box cutting, and after that only I'll start the stone soling work. You will not say that. What you will do instead is that you'll start the excavation from this end over here. I'll just delete this circle. You will start the excavation from this end over here. Let's say that you finish the excavation of this much part, right? Now you start the stone soling for this footing, for this footing, this footing, and also for this combined footing, this footing. You do the soling. You just do the layout and do the stone soling for all these works, right? And your excavator at the same time will continue doing excavations from here. So which means that these works happen simultaneously. So which means that the excavation work and the soling work, they are happening simultaneously. So how do you show this thing? So there are two ways by which you can show this thing. So the first method, what you can do is that, let's say excavation takes 15 days. So this is my 15-day line, and soling takes 16 days. So what you can say is that, okay, so I'll do the excavation for 15 days, and once the 5 days are done, this part of the excavation will be done, right? And which means that after, let's say, 5 days over here, you will start the soling, and the soling will only take 6 days. Is it logical over here? Definitely not logical, because the excavation is not completed, but your soling of all the footing is completed. So what you do instead is that you make sure that excavation is done, and after that at least there is 1 day more for the soling, which means that, let's say excavation finishes on day, I'll say 0, okay, here reference 0, and the soling should at least go to day 0 plus 1, or let's say 2. Okay, so this is my reference line. So soling takes total of 6 days, and day 2 is gone over here. And so how many days remaining? 4 days, right? So when the excavation finishes, when it is about to finish, so before 4 days you have to start the soling. So this is how you have to show the relationship in MS Project. Though at site, what you can do is that you can cut a box, do the soling, and also do the excavation at the same time. But this is not logical, or else you have to increase the number of days for the soling work, and that might not also be realistic, because soling doesn't take more than 6 days, right? All right. So let's say that at this point you start the soling at day -4, but you could have started this at day, let's say, -10 over here, right? Which means that you have got a slack of 6 days over here. So you can adjust this slack anyhow you want. You can start here, 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 or at last latest start of the date is this one, right? So this is the float available to you and you can utilize it anyhow at the site. It's up to you. So showing this relationship, there are two ways. First relationship is what you do. The usual one that I just showed you. What you can do is that the soling, the predecessor is 5. The relationship is finished to start. The first task finishes, then only the second task starts, -4 days. And you can see over here, I'll show you. So this is my excavation and this is my soling. So you can see that soling and excavation, they are being done parallel. All right, so this is how you do. The other way of showing this is, so let me just go over here, delete it. The next thing that what you can do is that you can say excavation and soling start at the same time. It doesn't, but for the software sake, 5 SS, okay, 5 SS plus what you can do, you have to do a lag of 11 days, 5 SS plus 11 days. Then start day of the soling doesn't change over here. You can see the start day is the same, but the relationship changes. So here it says that excavation and the soling start at the same time, but there is a lag of 11 days. So they have the SS relationship, but this is not a true relationship. So excavation and soling, they have FS relationship. Okay, so we'll go with 5 FS minus 4 days, and this is the relationship we want. Then after we have got the PCC, and for PCC also the same thing happens, right? So you don't have to wait for the stone soling completion of all the work. You can simply complete the stone soling of certain footings and then you can start the PCC. So what do we do over here is that, so it's 6 finish to start minus, I'll say 4 days, and see the relationship. Now you can see that there is a relationship between these two things. So once the soling starts, there is a gap of 2 days, which means that if today all the soling finishes, after 2 days the PCC finishes, you can reduce this gap to 1 day. So I'll just say 6 FS minus 5 days, right? So there is a gap of 1 day. So today soling finishes, tomorrow PCC finishes. So normally what also happens is that soling and PCC, they are also done at the same time. So you do the soling, you do the PCC, you do the soling, you do the PCC, but they don't have start to start relationship because they don't start at the same time. So all right, so that is why we'll stick with this FS relationship between them, and we will use this relationship or this lag thing over here to adjust that delay. So reinforcement of the footing and the column. So once you are done with the PCC, you do the reinforcement, and the predecessor is 7. The relationship is finished to start, and I'll take how many days. Okay, so this depends on your calculation. So today, if I finish the PCC, and how many more days it will take to complete the reinforcement of the column. A PCC is over here, 6 days time, and I'll take a lag of 3 days. So which means that I can start after 6 minus 3, that is 3 days, right? All right. And for the formworks also, the reinforcement work has to finish. So 8 FS minus, again I'll just take 4 days, right? So this is my relationship. So why I have taken 4 days? It's because today if the reinforcement work is done, tomorrow the form work will be done and I can start the concreting. So if I just shift it a little bit back, let's say if I just put okay, not like this, if I just put 5 days over here, then it will show that, and then it will show that the reinforcement and the formwork finish at the same time, but it doesn't happen. So it's always a day lag, right? So that is why I'll put 4 days over here. So this is how you have to make these calculations. So concreting work, a formwork plus 1 day it will take, right? So you have to adjust as that the finish date reaches over here. So it's 9 finish to start minus how many days does it take? 15 days, right? So if you just write, let's say 14 days over here, then you will see that yes, it finishes 1 day after it, but at the same time it starts even before the formworks is completed, and it's not logically true. So what you do over here, you don't do like this. So what you do is that you make sure that, so today the formwork is completed, so for the first footing the formworks will take, let's say, 2 days. So which means that the formworks start here plus 2 days it will go here, somewhere here. And how many days you have remaining? That's 3 days, right? Okay, so I'll just explain this to you. For formworks I have got 5 days. So this is day 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 days, right? And for the formworks it's 5 days, and for the concreting it's 15 days. Okay, so you have to adjust such that the concreting starts only when the formwork is done. Let's say that for 2 straight days you will do the formwork, and after that you will do the concreting. So you will start your concreting from here, right? So what do? You set a relationship that is finish to start minus how many days? 1, 2 and 3 days. So fs minus 3 days. Okay, so this is how you set the relationship. So 9 fs minus 3 days if we do, so this is now a much better relationship, right? But at the site it's not like, so today formwork finishes and after, let's say, 10 days the concreting will finish. No, it will not happen. What will happen is that today formwork finishes, tomorrow the concreting will finish, but you have to show the relationship logically in the software. So soling for the tie beam, a tie beam foundation. So this starts when you have finished the concreting works. So what we do is that we'll just put 10 value over here. You can start this work parallelly as well. Let's say that 10 fs minus, so how many days does it take? 4 days. So solely concreting work plus 2 days I'll take, concreting work plus 2 days, so I have to do minus 2 days, right? And PCC for the tie beam, PCC for the tie beam and foundation. Now I'll just take the linear relationship, so I'll just put 11 over here. And after that, brick masonry work. So once you finish the PCC, you do the brick masonry, that is by 12. And reinforcement work of the tie beam, you will do only after the brick masonry is completed. So it's 13. Brick masonry is completed for the certain time, so you will do 13 fs minus, so it take 18 days. Let's say after 5 days of the brick masonry you start the reinforcement work of the tie beam, which means that you have got 13 fs minus 13 days. So right, so it goes like this. Okay, and so you have to also ensure at the same time that this task doesn't finish before this task. Okay, because these two have finish to start relationship. So formwork for the tie beam, what you can do is that you can start 14 finish to start minus, you can do minus 6 days. So today you have done the reinforcement. Okay, so what you can do is that, so today you put the reinforcement bar, then you put the lateral bars as well, the rings, and it takes you around let's say 3 days, and the total task is 7 day long, so we'll go for minus 4 days, right? So concreting of the tie beam, the same principle applies. And what we do, we just put 15 fs and swell backfilling. So after all the concreting is done, you do the backfilling, so that is why 17. Okay, my mistake. That is why 16. Alright guys, so this is the basic concept of MS project and how the relationship is developed between different activities in the construction. Alright, so let us see the Gantt chart view over here. So for that, go to the right bottom corner, click on this minus icon, zoom out to 100% zoom, and you can now see that a good relationship is found between different activities over here. Some are like there is no lag or lead, there is no lag, some have got lag. Alright guys, so the substructure part is done. Now we will see how we input the values for the superstructure part. Hey guys, so far we have created a schedule for the substructure, that is the structure below the tie beam level. Okay, so we have done below this part. Now we create the schedule of the structure that is above the tie beam level, that is the superstructure. So I have done for the substructure. Okay, so this is my ground floor, this is my first floor, this is my second floor, and this is my third floor over here, this part. And I'll just create a plan for the ground floor, and you can create the similar plan for the first floor, second floor, and the third floor. All right, let's move on. Okay, I'll just give you an overview of what we normally do after the tie beam is done. So once the tie beam is done, you have concreted all the tie beams, then what you do is that you put the reinforcement of the column, that is you already have the vertical bars, then you have to lap the bars of the for the above floor. Okay, so you must have bars up to this point, then you have to lap the bars like this for the above floor, then you put the rings, and after that the reinforcement is done and you put the formworks. Then you set the column in its correct position, and after that you concrete the columns. Once you are done with the column, the next thing that you do is you do the slab and the beams. So once you have concreted the column up to this point, you don't concrete up to the floor level, you just concrete up to this point, right, where you can put the copla for the slab. And after that you put the formwork like this, right, you put all the formwork, and after that you put the reinforcement of the beam. So first you go with the beam, then you drop the reinforcement of the beam, then after that you go with the reinforcement of the slab, and after that you do the concreting, right? Okay, so after doing this, this portion is done. So we'll do these things in our Microsoft project. Let's go. So one thing I need to tell you is that over here, if you see, I'll zoom into this plan over here. So let's say that you start from here, the tie beam work. So you did the tie beam of this whole line, this, and up to this point at once. Okay. Then you move to this place. So what you do is that you don't wait for the completion of the whole tie beam of this whole building. You finish the tie beam, and some guys will be doing the tie beam of this part, and some guys will start doing the columns of these places. So this all depends on your planning. You can do this way, and let's say that you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough people, then what do you have to do? Then you have to finish all the tie beams first, then you have to start the columns. Okay, and if you have the resources, and if you have people, and if money is not an issue and time is an issue, you have to finish the project on time. If time is an issue, money is not, then you have to mobilize additional people and do this way. So we'll do like this, because mostly in the big projects works are done parallelly. Okay, so let's go to Microsoft project. Now I'll create a summary task and I'll name it ground floor. The first thing that we do for the ground floor is we do the reinforcement work for the columns. Reinforcement work for columns. Okay. Next, what we do the formwork for ground floor column. Okay. And next thing that we do is we do the concreting work. Let's say, I'll not say concreting work, concreting of ground floor columns. Let's not type ground floor, I'll just write columns. After that you do the formwork of beam plus slab, and after that we do reinforcement of beam plus slab. Okay, it's slab, not salb. And you do the concreting of beam plus slab. Okay, so let me just rename here. It's beam plus slab slab, right? Okay, so all these works over here, they should be indented. Then I'll just indent them inside the ground floor. Okay, they are already indented inside the foundation. You can see these fall in the same line, so I have to outdent the ground floor because ground floor and the foundation work, they are on the same level, right? So I'll just click here, and after that I'll click on this outdent button over here. Then ground floor is my summary task, and so reinforcement work for the columns, it normally takes around 7 days. So for the columns it doesn't take that long, and formworks for the column, it also doesn't take much. So I'll just take for all the columns, normally it takes 3 days. So concreting work also, it doesn't take much, so I'll take 3 days. So formwork of the beam and slab, yes, it takes time. So formwork is the part that takes more time, so I'll take 12 days for it. And beam, reinforcement of the beam, it does take time, and I'll take 6 days for the beam and the slab. So I'll say it's 4 days for the beam and 2 days for the slab. So slab is easier, beam is a bit difficult. So 4 days for the beam and 2 days for the slab, or you can take 5 days for the beam and 2 days for the slab, so it can be 7 days. Okay, so it's up to you. And concreting of the slab, it takes 1 day, so you have to finish that much of area in a day. All right, so now let us form the link. And reinforcement work of the column, you can do it after soil backfilling in the plinth floor level, or what you can do is that you already have started the concreting of the tie beam, and once you have finished the concreting of the tie beam of some tie beams, you can start the reinforcement work of the columns. Okay, so concreting of the tie beam, it's 5 days, it's 7 days, so I'll take 16 finish to start minus 3 days. Okay, now we have formed the relationship between this concreting of the tie beam and the reinforcement of the columns. So over here you can see that this task is now related to this one as well as this one. All right, okay, so formwork for the ground floor columns, and this must be completed one day after the reinforcement work is completed. Then what you do is you just put 20 finish to start minus so it's 7, and I'll say minus 2 days. Okay, and this is how it happens. And after that, concreting of the columns, you start, so it takes 3 days. That is why 21 fs minus again 2 days. Today the formwork is completed, tomorrow the concreting is completed of all the columns. So this is how the relationship has been defined. Okay, then the formwork of the beam and slab, so it takes a lot of time. So concreting of the column starts on 7th day of October. Okay, which means that, so today on the 7th day you have done the concreting of the columns. Tomorrow you will remove the formwork, and day after tomorrow you can start the formworks for the slab. So that is 7, 8 and 9th you can start. So if you have to form the relationship, then how will you do it? So it's 22 finish to start minus 1 day. If you do, then it will start on 9th. Okay, Let's say that we don't do like this. So what we do is that we do the concreting of all the columns. Okay, we don't have much resources. We do the concreting of all the columns, then we wait for 1 day to remove the formworks, then we start the concreting. Then how will the relationship be? So it's on 24th, on 9th of October you finish. On 9th of October you finish the concreting, and 10th you remove the formwork, and 11th you have to start the work. So it will be 22 FS plus, instead of minus, now you have to do plus 1 day. So plus 1 day, that lag is for the formwork removal. Then you press enter, then you see that it starts on 11th of the October. All right, so after that I'll show you one more relationship. Okay, so reinforcement of the beam and slab. So once the formwork of the beam and slab is completed, you do the reinforcement of the beam and slab. So what do? You do 23 finish to start. I'll just form a linear relationship. Then once all the work is done, you do the concreting. Over here also you can put some lag if you want. So for putting the lag like this, what you can do also is that you can over here, so this is the link, right? You can double click on this, and after that you can set the lag to minus, let's say 3 days. Then it will form the relationship. Okay. All right. So so this is done for the ground floor. Now what you can do is that you can just copy this, Control C, and after that go over here and press Control V. Now you can simply rename this to first floor. You can simply rename this to first floor. So you start the first floor reinforcement of the column after the concreting is done, after the complete concreting is done. So what you do is that you do the concreting today, you wait for 1 day to for the concrete to set, and after that you start the first floor. So what do? You do 25 finish to start plus 1 day. And now you don't have to change anything. So all the relationships are formed. Then you do the same for the second floor and the third floor. Okay, so I'll leave these works up to you. All right, so this my structure part is done. Now I have to do the brick masonry work. So after the ground floor concreting is done, let's say that you wait for the 14 days to remove the formwork, and after you have removed the formwork, then you can start the brickwork. Okay, let me see this thing over here. So the concreting of the ground floor, it takes 55 days, and that's not possible. So it means that this first floor has been indented inside the ground floor. If I collapse this, then you can see that the first floor goes inside the ground floor. So ground floor and the first floor at the same level. So that is why I click on the first floor over here. Then I go to this outdent and click on it. Now you see that ground floor takes 27 days and first floor takes 27 days. So if you want to minimize these days to, let's say, 20 days, then you have to reduce some days. Like for example, you can reduce the reinforcement of the column to 5 days, and a formwork you can reduce to 2 days. Concreting of columns you can reduce to 2 days. Formwork of slab and beam, it's already reduced. You can reduce to 10 days if you want, and reinforcement you can reduce to 5 days. And by doing this, you can reduce this number to a lesser value. Okay, so it depends on the manpower resources that you have at the site. So once you are done with the ground floor, you remove the formworks, you remove the pipes, you remove the props, and you start the brickworks. And at the same time, you are doing the concreting work of the first floor, then you are doing the concreting of the second floor. So the brickwork of the ground floor and concreting work of the first floor, they happen at the same time or parallel, or let's say for the second floor. Okay, so this is how you move on. So let's do the brick masonry work. The next thing that we do is the brick masonry work. Now I'll write ground floor, first floor. Then you can write for the second floor, third floor as well. Okay, so ground floor brick masonry work. Let's just outdent this brick masonry work. So this time I'll just use the mouse and I'll just pull it. Okay, so the ground floor brick masonry work you do, let's say for a floor it normally takes 25 to 30 days, right? So duration is 30 days. For first floor also it's 30 days. And now you have to form the link as well. For forming the link, let's say for now I have to connect this with the concreting of the slab of the ground floor, right? So this activity number is 25. So it's 25 finish to start plus how many days? finish to start plus how many days. Let's say 14th day you remove the formwork. For 2 days you do the clearance and moving the materials, brick. You have to move the cement, sand also, and you have to set the workers also. So let's say it's 16 days. For the first floor, now you have to connect two things. First thing, this is an example, okay? So first thing, what do you connect is that you connect the concreting of the beam and the slab, because without this concreting you cannot start the brick masonry work. Also at the same time, let's say that the workers that finish the ground floor, they will move to the first floor. So both the things need to be finished for the first floor brickwork to start. Okay, so this is that relationship. So what you do in that case, you must have learned this in project management. So you do 33 finish to start plus 16 days, right? 33 is the concreting of the beam and the slab activity, plus 16 days removal of formwork and the material transportation, and you do the comma, and you also say that the ground floor work needs to be finished plus, let's say, 1 day for other tasks, right? And you press enter. So what the software will do is it will see which task finishes second. Okay, so whether the concreting of the slab is finishing second or the brick masonry work of the ground floor is finishing second. For the first floor brick masonry work activity to start, it will take reference from the activity that finishes second. So over here you see that the concreting of the beam and slab, it finishes on 11/24, but the ground floor brickwork, it finishes on 12/12. So the guys that are on the ground floor, they cannot go to the first floor because the ground floor is not yet completed. So what do you do in that case? It starts from 12/14. You see, so 12/12 they finish. 1 day they take for things, miscellaneous things, let's say, and they start on 12/14/24. Okay, this is interesting. And let's say that if cost is not an issue, if time is an issue, then you have to get more people, and in that case you have to take reference with this value only. You do not wait for these people to finish the ground floor, or you make them finish the ground floor earlier so that you don't have to wait for the first floor. So now once the brick masonry work is done, now next thing that you do is the plastering work for the ground floor, for the first floor. Okay, so inside the brick masonry work, I will add, so that it's easy to track, I'll add other task, and that task is conduit placement. So you have to put the conduits for the electrical work, and you have to do this. So conduit placement, let's say it takes 7 days, and you have to finish ground floor brickwork and you do the conduit placement. Okay, so I'll just take roughly here. So the relationship is with the 36 finish to start minus 3 days, and for the first floor also you have to do the conduit placement. Okay, so plastering work, ground floor and the first floor, so I'll just outdent this. And a number of days for the ground floor, let's say it will take 12 days, and for the first floor also it will take 12 days. And the relationship is okay, so the plastering work is associated with the brick masonry work. So what you do is that you first finish the brick masonry work, then only you can start the plastering work. So how normally it happens is that you do the brick masonry work, and then let's say that you finish a certain part in 5 days. Okay, so you do the brick masonry work for 5 days, and after that what you do, you have to wait for at least a week, because you have to do the curing of the brick wall. If you do not do the curing of the brick wall, then what will happen is that the brick will absorb the moisture content from the plaster, and thereby the plaster will not be strong enough, because the moisture that is required for the hydration of the cement, that has all been taken by the brick masonry bricks. Okay, so this is how we plan. So the brick masonry takes 30 days, but let's say in 5 days we finish certain part of the work, and 5 days we start the curing, and let's say we cure for the 7 days. That is why 7 plus 5, that is 12 days. So I'll form one relationship over here, and that is I'll use the start to start relationship. So 36 start to start, 36 start to start, which means that I can do both the things together, but I have to wait for 12 days, 12 days for the curing. Okay, and you can see that there is the relationship, or you can also do the finish to start relationship. It's up to you over here. So I just wanted to show this sort of relationship as well. So 37 start to start plus I'll do the 12 days. Okay, now we have done. Here you have to put the comma as well, but now I think you can take care of those things. Now once you have done the plastering works, then you have to do the flooring work. So flooring work. So if you are putting granite or tile or whatever the finishing material, you do not put right now, you just make a surface for those things. For example, if you have to raise the floor level a little bit, then you do the cement screeding. Okay, then you have to do these things. So flooring work I'll take for the ground floor. So at the ground floor also, you haven't done the PCC yet. You have to do the PCC with the normal reinforcement that you haven't done yet. So ground floor, and I'll do the first floor. Okay, so flooring work like granite and tiles you normally put after you have done the false ceiling and the painting work, so that these works do not degrade the flooring work. So let's outdent this one. And so ground floor flooring work, let's say it will take 14 days, and first floor also it's take 14 days, and it is associated with the after doing the plastering works. I'll start so 41 fs, and I'll do this after 42. Okay, so let me save. I'll just summarize everything now in the final finishing. So this includes a lot of things. Okay, because now I think you have understood the concept of the software, and I think you can do the work breakdown structure by yourself. And you have to do this, you have to consult with other people if you do not know, and then you can easily do these things. So important thing is that you understand the concept of how the software works and how the relationships are formed. The flooring works, final finishing, I'll just outdent this, and final finishing I'll take painting and also let's say electrical, sanitary, doors and windows and everything. Okay, so I'll take these works for 4 months, so that is 120 days, and these are connected with the flooring work of ground floor. I'll just connect these, and also I'll take the site development as 120 days 3 months, not 120 days 4 months. So you can do this side by side, and you can plan this in a way that the final finishing and site development they finish together. So this is 48 finish to finish relationship, and if you see the Gantt chart over here, then you can see that the site development and the final finishing finish at the same time. So which means that you have to start the site development works at this position latest, that is 20th of the January 2025. Okay, so having known these things, this is how you make a basic schedule in the Microsoft project. And once you're done with the Microsoft project, then the next thing that you have to see is the critical path, and you have to find the critical activities. So what are the critical activities? So you must be knowing about the critical activities. So the critical activities are those activities where the float is 0. You do not have any extra days to complete the work. You have to finish the work within that time, right? So for this, what we do is that we go to the Gantt chart format, and after that you can find over here critical tasks. You click on it, then the Microsoft project will show you the critical task in this orange color over here. You can see that these all tasks are my critical task. Okay, and you have to focus on these tasks, right? All right, you can find these critical tasks. All right guys, so now we have completed the schedule of this project, and so this is just an outline, and you can, for your project, you have to do these things in detail. Okay, so now what we do is that we print this in a PDF. Okay, so for that you press Ctrl P to print, and after that you select Adobe PDF, or you can select Microsoft Print to PDF as well. And landscape orientation and page, you select A3. Okay, because it's a big timeline. And if you see all the views over here, you can click here, multiple pages, Okay, and you can see that this page and this page is fine, but these are the cut pages. So there must be some problem, and you can see over here there is some additional task that has been created by accident, and you can see that over here. So let's delete this, and we'll right click and click on delete task, and now again press Ctrl plus P, and if you see over here, let's see the multiple views. Then again you see that over here, and if we see all the pages, then you can see that these pages are cut because this should be a part of this page. And to fix this, what we do, we go back to our main window over here, because this has been set to the months view and it is taking a lot of space, right? That is why the software is not able to fit it in a single window or a single page. So what you do, you just go over here and click on zoom out. Now it has zoomed out. You can see July, August, September, then you can see October. So now you can see the quarter view, right? So now you go to Control P, and you can see that now the software is able to fit in 2 pages, right? If you go down, now it has fit into 2 pages. So alternatively, what you can do is that you can reduce the length of these columns, and you can also remove this predecessor because it is not required, and then you can try to fit in the months view. Alternatively, you can increase the size of the page and you can fit this Gantt chart in a single page with the months view. After that, if you press print, it will save the file to your hard disk. Okay. Alright guys, so this much for this video. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching and take care.